What is going on, everybody? It's Alex back with another video, and there has been a lot of hype around the new Saints Row game that once again we're going to be calling Saints Row 5 until we actually get an official confirmation of what the game is called. So for now, Saints Row 5, people are really hyped about it. There's a lot of speculation on when it's going to be coming out, all this stuff, but as of right now, there is actually really no information on when we're going to see it, when we're going to get a trailer, when we get to play the game, anything like that. So we can't really talk about that too much right now. However, what I do want to talk about is what I actually want to see in the game. Let me paint you a picture of what my ideal Saints Row 5 would be in the form of my wish list. So getting right into it, it's been like 6 years since we've actually gotten a new Saints Row game. Obviously, a lot has changed when it comes to games and stuff like that, and one of the biggest things that I want to see in this game is simply better graphics. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer, but looking at some of the older Saints Row games and even, Gat Out of Hell, the games look really dated, and I would like it to look a lot better. Now, I'm not looking for anything like super realistic, with an open world game this big, I wouldn't expect anything like the new Call of Duty that's coming out or Assassin's Creed or anything like that. But if we can get like on a similar level as like Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't mean to be comparing it to Grand Theft Auto a lot, I know that triggers a lot of people, but just something similar to those graphics I think is fine for a game like Saints Row. With the game being fairly goofy and everything like that, I mean, it doesn't need to be super ultra realistic, but I would definitely like more of a polished look that doesn't look so cartoony and so unrealistic. So the next point is probably something that a lot of people are going to agree with, but also a lot of people are going to disagree with, and that is wanting something that's a little more grounded and more realistic in terms of gameplay. So basically what I mean by that is I personally would like for Saints Row 5 to kind of go a little bit more back towards its roots, more of like a realistic, gangster type game, and not so much like zombies and superheroes and anything like that. Now, the reason this is going to upset people is because Saints Row really built a following based on Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2, and it also really built a following on Saints Row 3, Saints Row 4, Gat Out of Hell, all of that. And these followings don't really seem to mix very well. I've made a few videos on Saints Row 5 already, and it seems like there's a lot of controversy. I have people that are so excited about it because they think they're going to bring it back to, what's similar to Saints Row 1 and 2. And then there's also people that really didn't get into the games until Saints Row 3 and 4, and that's what they really like, and they don't really care about the realistic stuff. So it's really interesting to see that there is a clear division between these two people. There is a clear divide. People want very different things, but me personally, I lean more towards the Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2 type vibes, and I would like for it to go a little bit more in that direction. Now, with that being said, I really do like the goofiness and the over top, all that kind of stuff from the Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4. So honestly, I think my best version of the game would be if it met somewhere in the middle. I don't want to have superpowers or anything like that, but if there's zombies, if there's just ridiculous things going on in the game, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that. Now, if you guys know me, I started my YouTube channel, my streaming career and everything on Forza type stuff, so I am a huge fan of cars, and I would really like to see that emphasis really increased in this game. Obviously, this is something that GTA does really well, kind of building that car community around it. I mean, I know a lot of people that got into cars simply because of Grand Theft Auto 5. I would like to see Saints Row 5 do something very similar. Give us a lot of emphasis on cars. I'm talking a wide variety of vehicles. I want to have crazy customization and stuff like that. I want to see boats. I want to see planes, helicopters, everything. I want to see just an assortment of vehicles that you can own and customize. I think adding a whole section of the game having to do with races, whether it's legal, illegal, whatever, I would love to see a lot to do with races, and honestly, just doing more around the car culture for an open world game like this, I think it would work really well. Now, since there are a lot of comparisons between Saints Row and Grand Theft Auto, I know a lot of people are not going to like that point, that I want to see more emphasis on cars. People are going to think that, no, let GTA do that, we need to do something different here. But I disagree. I feel like these games are so different. Yes, they're similar in the sense that it's open world games, shooters and stuff like that, but really I feel like that's where it stops. I feel like they are very different experiences, even if on the surface level they're fairly similar. You're definitely going to get a very different vibe while playing both of these games. So kind of taking what we just did with cars, I want to do the same thing with the weapons. I have been a fan of shooters since a very young age, and that's kind of grown an interest in weapons. So in this game, I would love to see a bigger collection of weapons, more of a wide assortment of weapons and everything having to do with these weapons, and also allow you to customize them even more. Now, Saints Row always has had a wide variety of weapons, and you have been able to customize them and everything, but I just want to see this taken to the absolute next level. Now, with this being an open world game that people are going to be spending a lot of time in, I would love to see a tremendous emphasis on RPG elements to the game. I mean, imagine if you want to be someone who just, runs around shooting people and stuff like that, you should be able to do that and get better at these skills. Also, if you want to be really stealthy, maybe that'll be a good thing. If you want to be a really good driver, driving a lot and doing all these races and things like that will upgrade skills, and you maybe even skill trees, who knows. I don't think this is necessary, but I feel like adding RPG elements to the game could make it a lot more immersive and a lot more enjoyable. Now, the year is 2019. By the time we get our hands on this game, it'll be at least 2020, and needless to say, there's gonna be microtransactions in this game, whether you want it or not. I know some people just start crying when they hear the term microtransactions, but honestly, there's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it. Recently, it seems like basically everyone is doing it in a very non-consumer way, but I think they could incorporate microtransactions in a very good way that people would not hate, at least. Now, figuring out monetization schemes for games and stuff like this is not my career path. I don't know exactly what they need to do with microtransactions, but with that being said, with there definitely being microtransactions that are gonna be implemented into the game, I just really hope they do something with microtransactions that's not so toxic. I don't want to see content locked behind a paywall. Do something similar to what Grand Theft Auto does, where there's free updates, and then maybe with those free updates, there's cosmetics that are microtransactions, or maybe there's certain like weapon skins or something like that. I don't know, but there needs to be no weapons locked behind a money paywall. There needs to be no content locked behind a paywall. Everything needs to be accessible for free, and then give us options to buy things, cosmetics, boosts or something like that, that's not going to affect us that much that people can actually pay money for. I know that's a touchy subject, and I feel like it needs to be said. The final thing that I want to talk about is by far the biggest thing on my wish list, and by far the most important thing I think it will need to be very successful in this day and age of video games, and that is quite simply Saints Row Online. Although I mentioned that Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row are not the same games, in a sense they are competitors, so Saints Row is gonna have to do something with an online feature allowing friends to play with friends that is going to at least somewhat compete with Grand Theft Auto. The only way they're going to be able to compete with Grand Theft Auto is to have an online system that is very well done. Now again, I don't know exactly how they're going to be able to do this, but I really want to see an online that incorporates everything, all the RPG elements that I talked about, all the weapon and customization, all the cars and customization, all the grounded gameplay and everything like that, and obviously the graphics will carry over. But basically everything, it kind of culminates into this online, and I just want to see it be absolutely epic. So there it is, guys. There is a few things that I want to see in Saints Row 5. Now, I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about it. Do you agree with my points? And if not, let me know why. Also, I want to see your list down in the comments below. So if you guys have some things that you really want to see in the game, make sure to let me know in the comments. But that does it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for the support. Peace out.
Only got one eye, but even I can't see that when it comes to this wall-hunting mercenary game in a world of nobodies, I'm the number one name. Elvis, Helios, Pandora, and Space. My motto wheel takes me all over the place. And wherever I go, I'm in minds and hearts. Don't need to climb stairs when I'm climbing these charts. Lilith, Roland, the other two dudes didn't come to my birthday party. Rude, but they all found time to go fight the warrior. Like, this me like some...